I went from $1,000 to $25,000 in a very short time just because a guy who was making sushi ended up in a restaurant completely broke. And listen closely to this because I'm going to explain how it happened, and listen carefully to what I'm going to tell you. One day, I wanted to eat some sushi, so I headed out. I went to a restaurant and I bought some sushi. And I see the guy preparing the sushi slumped over like this on the counter. I'm thinking, this guy is weird, you know? Why is he doing that? Anyway, I just go ahead and order my sushi. And then I see the guy completely slumped over like that with his phone, and I see Robinhood on his phone. And I say to him, "Oh, you're investing in stocks? I see, you're on the Robinhood app." And the guy, his face was just completely distraught. And he tells me, "I just lost 6 months of salary." I say, "What do you mean 6 months? You know, tell me what happened." He tells me, "I invested in a stock, there was some news about that stock, and he lost everything." It was something like $12,000 that he had invested. I take a look, since I always have Robinhood on my phone, I check and I see that it's true. The stock had really plummeted. And all that just because there was some bad news about the stock. And back then, it was Intel stock. And I'm looking at it thinking, wait, it just dropped by 20%. And the person, he had used leverage on it, so he had lost a lot more. I had $1,000 left in my account. At the time, I was really just working student jobs and wasn't making much. So I decided to invest the $1,000 I had in Intel. But it was the day when actually it had gone down so much. And every time there's a big drop in the stock market, what happens in the following days? Well, it goes back up. It's normal, you know, it goes up 10, 15%. And I actually end up gaining 10, 15%, but I had used leverage on it. And in fact, I go from $1,000 to $25,000 in the space of a day. And then I said to myself, you know, it's really... I'm not a genius. Why did I do that? I'll explain it to you. Listen closely. You have to understand one thing, which is that in the stock market, most people will tell you, yeah, I invest based on a theory. I invest because I'm the best, because I'm just that good. Not true. It's not true. Don't believe them. Your only goal is to do what? It's simply to be there at the right time in the right place. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's it. So for you, the only thing left to do is find some stocks, invest in them, and be there at the right time in the right place. It could be the worst stock in the world. If you're there at the right time in the right place, you're gonna make money. Simple as that. Don't start overcomplicating things, trying to look at supports, resistances, trend lines, and so on and so forth. It doesn't work. I told you that story here about the Chinese guy. Once again, it was just to show you that today, you don't need to be a stock market expert to really make money. Now, some people will tell me, yeah, but you see how do quantitative funds do it and so on. Today, we're not talking about that. We'll talk about that in a future video. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm going to tell you a bit about my experience in the stock market. I've made money and I've lost a lot. So I'll explain a bit about how I feel about the stock market. Because I've also lost a lot in the stock market. I even lost everything at one point. Then I made a lot. Honestly, if I told you today everything I've been through in the market, you'd really... I think many people wouldn't even be able to sleep. That's how catastrophic my journey in the stock market has been. But there have been ups and downs. But don't worry, I'll explain everything on this YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And so the moral of the story is that whether it's the stock market or business, you don't necessarily need to be an expert in your field to really make money. I've seen it in business too, with many people starting companies. In reality, those who make a lot of money in business aren't necessarily the ones who know the most. It's not those with the highest level of expertise who earn the most. It's usually people who don't know much about the sector, but who know how to fake it a bit to sugarcoat things and present them well. And it's precisely by presenting things well that they make money. But in the end, they don't know that much. They just partner up with people who really know their stuff. And that's how they can deliver what they do. Especially now with no code and all that, it's even easier to do. And so, once again, if you've lost a lot of money in the stock market today, and if today well, don't. You really shouldn't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself, because making money in the stock market, for a vast majority of people, and let's be honest, it's random. It's random. At one point in my life, I really tried to calculate everything. I really tried to use statistics to be able to trade. I was doing quantitative finance. I did it for a long time. I even did quantitative studies, right? So in actuarial science, in insurance. So I did a lot of math, and every time I come back to the same logic that ultimately, if I invest and I'm there at the right time, in the right place in a stock, I make money. Simple as that. Don't start overthinking it, stressing out, trying to do complicated things. You invest money, you have people who will invest, they'll win big. You have other people who will invest, they'll lose everything. But it's natural selection. And today, we need people like that. We need people who really invest to be able to make it. There, I hope you enjoyed this little video, short little video. Don't hesitate, once again, to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to leave a like, to really join this new adventure we're going to create here on this YouTube channel. Here, we're going to print money, we're going to print together, and I'm going to show you a bit, my daily life, how it goes, and explain a bit, share with you all my experience that I have in stock market investing, and also in business. That way, we can really grow together and make money together. Come on, without further ado, it's happening right below. Subscribe and leave a like on the video. Bye.